Okay, welcome to Introduction Java Programming by Y. Daniel Yang, 8th edition, Chapter 3 Selections, Problem number 2. Write a program that reads an integer from the user and displays whether the integer is odd or even. Very easy. First, I'm gonna need to import java.util.scanner. Then, at the start of my program, I'm gonna need to declare a scanner reference. So scanner name it input equal new scanner system.in. Comment this as scanner reference to read input from the user. After that, I'm gonna need the user to enter an integer value, so I'm gonna declare an integer variable. I'll just name it number and comment this as integer value given by the user. So now, as a first step, I'm gonna start by prompting the user to enter an integer. So system.out.println enter an integer. So after the user enters the integer value, I'm gonna read this integer value, then assign it to the integer variable. So to read the inputted integer value, I'm gonna need to use input.nextInt. So input.nextInt reads the integer value, and I'm gonna need to store this integer value to the integer variable. So assigning this integer value to number. So number is equal to input.nextInt. Now that I have the value of number, I'm gonna need to check whether number is odd or even. So implementing my conditions. The first condition is gonna be whether the integer is even. I'm gonna start with even. So to find out if the value is even, I'm gonna use number, the radian operator, to equal to 0. So if the number is divisible by 2, the result would be 0. So here I'm just gonna print the integer to that, printing the value of the integer, then is, and here it's even, so is even. And in case the number is not even, so I'm gonna add an else block here. So otherwise, if the number is odd, then print the integer, the value of number, is odd, like that. So if I run it, enter an integer, I'm gonna enter an even integer, so 6. The integer 6 is even. Let me run it again. Enter an integer, let's say an odd integer, so 7. The integer 7 is odd. Now let me think of a way to simplify this code. So instead of making two separate printing statements, I can make just one statement. So if I comment this, okay, I should always remember that at the end of my program I need to close the scanner, which is very important. So input dot close. Okay, so let me think of a way to simplify this block. So let me first comment this in here. Now we know that we can declare Boolean variables. So my Boolean variable, I'm gonna name it as is even. So Boolean variable which determines whether the integer is even or odd, like that. So let me go in here. After I have the value of number, here I'm gonna proceed to check if the integer is even or odd. Let me make this a bit further so we can see. So if I can implement my conditions, the same conditions, if number radian 2 equal to 0, then is even is true, and else is even is false. I can do that simply, and I can also simplify this. Since is even is a Boolean variable which can either be true or false, I can instantly set is even to the condition. So number radian 2 equal to 0. If the number is even is true. If the number is odd, is even is false. So what's next? Okay, let me just print it. So the integer, printing the value of number, then I'm gonna use a condition in here which is called a ternary operator. So my condition here is even, then followed by a question mark. So whether is even is true or false. If is even is true, I want my returned string to be the integer space is even. And if the condition is false, then I input this character, then make this ternary operator return is odd, like that. So since overall system.out.println can take a single string value, so the integer followed by the value of number is followed by what is followed by the result of this ternary operator. The result of this ternary operator depends on whether is even is true or false. If is even is true, then the returned string is even. If it's false, the return string is odd. So now if I run this and turn integer 4, the integer 4 is even. And an odd number 9, the integer 9 is odd. Okay, and let me comment this as displaying the final result. Okay, so like that we would have written a program that reads an integer from the user and displays whether the integer is odd or even.